One quick bit of housekeeping. Um, I have not been getting any good out of recording my face, and it just ends up being more work and more things that can go wrong when I'm trying to do this. So, for a little while, I'm going to try not recording my face and see if I like that any better. Let's see. We are working on Obadiah verse 2, and we have completed Obadiah verse 2, except that we haven't laid things out very well yet. Obadiah verse 2 is a little bit shorter than verse 1. Just in order of words, behold, small give thee in the nations, despise thou very. And that's not real great English, because English and Hebrew have different uh, rules when it comes to grammar. The behold is going to stay where it is. And when you're starting out, um, a lot of times you're just going to look at these and you're going to go, that doesn't make any sense to me. Um, I happen to know for a fact that a lot of times God will say, I have given you to be a certain verb and or a certain adjective, and that really means that I have made you whatever. Um, and this is why when you're doing these to start out, checking what you do uh, against other um, translations is going to be uh, pretty important. So we do have make. And so we are going to, what was that, about 4? Yep. Behold. And that's going to be past tense. So 2. Behold. We're going to actually, before we even go back and check and see how King James did this, we're going to say, I have made thee small among the nations. I'm going to check and see, since we are trying to match the King James. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And so we need to turn some of these words around. We need to say, this is 4. No, I have made thee small among the nations. You are greatly despised. And then we'll change this out to 4, mostly 2. Now, No, it does actually. I was just about to say that's not the first person version, but actually it is. Um, so we will say Matan. They're not T. The T is first person. Why is that saying that it is an adjective? I should be saying it's a verb. What did I do wrong here? This is why I don't order these in alphabetical order until I'm done. That is Hebrew verb. Cow. Perfect. First person. Common singular. There we go. Now, what does that do? Take the override out. Behold, I gave it was given, isn't it? I made 4, 5, 6, 8. Mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14-ish. I have made the, there we go, small, did you say small or little? Small among the, among the heathens. Thou art greatly despised. And as I'm sure we've already discussed in a previous, the to be verbs sometimes don't get written out or spoken in Hebrew. And so, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, colon. Thou art greatly despised. We'll come to the plain text version. behold, I have made thee small among the heathens. I need to move that colon. We already decided on the previous verse that we are okay being a little more accurate. Oh, greatly, not very. Thou art greatly despised. Now, I have to decide whether I care about that being an exclamation point instead of a comma. I have decided I don't. Heathens, thou art greatly despised. Everything else matches up except 1611 decided not to italicize art because the verse couldn't mean anything else. They weren't wrong. I'm even more not wrong. So, something I forgot to do on the first verse is to make a note that heathens is different. And to decide how I'm going to do this, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to import all of the 1611 footnotes as I go. There don't happen to be any footnotes in Obadiah until verse 5, so I need to decide how I'm going to distinguish their footnotes from mine. I'm going to make it real simple. SK, King James Version, says heathen. And wouldn't you know, it's the same exact thing right there. I'm not making these kinds of footnotes where I change spelling. There was somewhere up here where the spelling I use is the kind that would make my third grade teacher proud, not the kind that would make the King James translators proud, but that is fine. I am all set up to make this a shirt. Let's do it. Change our verse reference. Grab that. I'm going to pause for a moment while I get to the right folder. All right, I don't need you seeing all the mess in my hard drive, but oops, Obadiah 1.2 SVG, since I just created it, it's a blank file. paste that, save it. Open 2 SVG. There we go. And let's see if I can get rid of that too without destroying anything. Nope. Everything gets destroyed. Still. No, we're to okay. What if I then there we go. That's fine. Where's my text tools? There we go. Zoom out a little bit. Bring this down. How did I do that on? No, I didn't. Good enough for me. There we go. And let's go to the DPI to 300 because the image size will be that. We don't need more than that. Obadiah 1-2. Export. Done. Save it. Now we go to what's it called? Zazzle. Sign in. I'm all signed in. Review this. Oh, I was very happy. Submit review. I wanted. That's Ruth from right. Now we're going to here. I'm going to go to the back. We're going to delete that. There we go. I wore this to the fair, and people were asking me about it, and it was so much fun. Selling options. Next. I need 3x. Next review. Sell it. We'll no one will ever find it this way, but I edit King James Obadiah 1-2 t-shirt. Do King James Bible, King James Obadiah translation. Hebrew. Everyone can see it. Yeah, sure, whatever. I have the right to do this because I did it. And you have the right to do this because I just gave the right to you. Because it's Creative Commons and no attribution necessary. Or, yeah, attribution necessary. So as long as you include in your selling description where you got the text, go ahead, make a better shirt. Because what I lack in design experience, I make up for in lack of design experience. All right, then grab that. We'll -3x. Add to cart. And I will check out when I am done with y'all. And then my designs. And there's my cup. And edit this design. We'll take all this out. Is there a crop option? There's a crop option. And once we've cropped it, that's not what I'm looking for. I can just say I'm done cropping. There we go. Scale. There we go. Shift makes it scale. Then we'll crop it the other way so that all we've got is the Hebrew. And all we've got is the Hebrew. And we still got to scale it a little. There we go. Next, options. See how that's going to look. I'm not ordering myself a mug because I don't need more dishes. There we go. I'm in living. Cubs. I need to change that to be two mug. We need one, two, and the Hebrew. Eggs. Bible, King James, Hebrew. There we go. I have the right. Post it. Here we go. Let's see if I can check out without. P.O. Box. Visa on file. They're giving me a promo code. Okay. Tis on its way. I already got credit card, capital one. There we go. finished with Obadiah 1, 2. Now, how many words have we got on 3? 29, 12, 15? One, 3, 1. Oh, 3, 2. Is that not? What I thought it should do. There's 1, 3. 2, 2. Let's try a good old-fashioned refresh. See if something didn't get boggled. Alright, so 1, 3. Oh, okay. Every single word here, except our punctuation, is going to be a new word. Refuse. Did we already have Eric's? Check our dictionary. I guess we have not. I thought that one came up already. But we need our tools. Right. So we are going to see what the construct version of lev art is. And we are going to use that. Colon. then we had our go. And again, we're going to find the Hifil version of this root. Third person. So on these two words, I'm going to finish what I'm doing, and then I'm going to talk about why I'm doing them the particular way I'm doing them. That's not what I want. That's why I'm not going to talk while doing it, is because I'll grab the wrong one. If there is a right one. Oh, there it is. So, Hebrew allows you to combine morphemes sometimes. In particular, we've already done this with the pronominal suffixes. Modern Hebrew has a way of doing pronominal suffixes on their own word so that it's a little more compatible with European languages. Ancient Hebrew, they just didn't bother. They just always kept the pronominal suffix attached to the current word. By separating them out, it allows me to have fewer dictionary entries. I don't have to have a dictionary entry for every pronominal suffix on heart. But in order to do that, I also need to make sure that the version that is pulled out is going to be a version the dictionary can find. It's not just the same uh, vowel pointing as if you just take the pronominal suffix off. Hebrew is a little bit dynamic in the way that it does that. English is too. We just don't notice it in English. And then we have the same thing down with this verb. They attach the pronominal suffix, which gives us the same effect as if they had the direct object marker with the pronominal suffix right after. And again, they put a vowel point on that last letter to make it easier to pronounce. It's really straightforward when you're learning the language, but when we're pulling it apart, I have fewer dictionary entries if I look up the word in one place and the pronominal suffix in another. Some people don't like to do it that way because it makes it harder to backtrace when you've got your dictionary entries. Is it a pronominal suffix or is it the direct object with a pronominal suffix? And the answer is, when you get to that point, it doesn't matter. the way the text operates is the same. It has the exact same meaning. There may be reasons why it matters in terms of poetic flow, and if that's the case, read it in Hebrew, because you're not going to be able to restore the poetic flow by the dictionary logic. Dictionary logic is not about poetic flow. It's about word meanings. And so uh, anyway, enough on that. Um, this one is what it is. I'm going to see if Pilim has a different construct for this noun. What am I looking at here? No, so it's a participle in the construct state. There we go. And yeah, Pilim does have the, in particular, the thing that set me off was under the sheen, there is no vowel. And it's got a holum there, but usually I have seen those vowels get contracted, and the holum is usually kind of longish. And so I wanted to see if Pilim wanted to keep it as the shortened version, and it seems that it does. Um, oh no, that's the pronominal suffix version. Oh no, no, it's not. That's the plural. There we go. And because I'm kind of using Pilim as an authority, again, reducing my dictionary entries. I'm not saying, they're because of poetic flow, because of the way people talk. Um, there are all kinds of different ways that the construct is going to end up being vowel pointed just a little bit different between here and there and another place. And um, all right, so uh, this is one that throws people for a loop. The bait occurring at the beginning of the word without the dogish. And the reason is the word before it, let's see if I can show cantillation marks. Yeah, the word before it has a construct cantillation mark, which means shorten this distance, and it it therefore you take the dogish out of the bait when you're uh, pronouncing it and when you're writing it. Um, so we are going to do that on my phone, not on the computer. Not because you can't do it on your computer, but because I don't have keyboard stickies that show me where all my Hebrew letters are and where the dogish is, and the result will be me hunting and pecking blindly for the rest of our natural lives, or 10 minutes, whichever gets there sooner. And nobody wants to hang around for that. Not even me. So this is morphemes. There we go. And on my phone, the on-screen keyboard has all the letters. All right, so we've got the bait. Oh, just to check. I'm pretty sure that I just did it. Yep, I just did it with no vowel. Bait. And then hug V. Again, I'm going to double check per Paleem just because there was one a little bit different right before it. Paleem says, I don't know what you're talking about. That must be ancient Hebrew. It's not modern Hebrew. And I say, good enough for me. Let's see, we can hide cancellation marks now. I don't know why they put that doggish there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to Westminster, Leningrad. And I am going to look through 5553. I'm going to see how many of these that don't have the, wow, there's just not many times. Okay, there's one without the, it does not have, and that one does not have. That one does, that one does not, does not, does not, does not have. Well, it does, but it's got the article, article, plural form, no article, no doggish. So that's good enough for me to say what's going on here. So there's no article there, but the scribes put a doggish. I am going to take the doggish out when looking it up because I have no idea what they're doing there. Somebody more experienced than me is probably going, you're missing something really vital and critical, and I may come back to it while translating the next time and say, I missed something really vital and critical. But just glancing at it, I don't see anything. There we go. All right, and again, we are going to use Paleem to look up the construct, verb, no. There we go. Noun. Construct. And we've got the shield. Shiloh. Shiloh. Yeah. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. All right, so we can actually do this one by saying, first of all, it's the same bait as that one. It's the same lev or heart as that one. And it's the same slow as that one. I can barely see the vowel point there, so I'm going to make sure it's pointed the normal way. Every so often, even on these little words, a particular scribe will have thought, hey, wouldn't it be fun to vowel point it just a little bit different? And as an amateur, I go, no, it would not be fun. And they do it anyway because I don't count. And they always have their reasons. I make it sound like they are just doing it to mess with me. They're not doing it to mess with me. They never met me. Ifil, third masculine singular. Ifil, third masculine singular. Some of these words are a little more rare. So for some reason, this is one of those times I'm telling you, I'm sure the scribes have their reason for wanting to do it this way, but this is the absolute form of Eretz. When you put the direct or definite article on Eretz, the initial becomes an ah, so it's haaretz instead of haaretz. For some reason that I don't understand, probably just ease of pronunciation in some lunatic scribe's mind, it is pointed with the ah, and so it's aretz instead of eretz. There's, we know what word it is, and for some reason he's kind of thinking of the articular version. Why is he thinking of the articular version? I don't know. Maybe it's just to mess with me. He never met me. He doesn't realize how difficult he's making my life. But I have found a way to get around that. That's the kind of thing there are some people who write their doctoral dissertation on why that's a comet instead of a seagull. Um, they'll they'll say, "Aha! It used to be articular because the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Septuagint and the Vulgate." And I'm not going to go check. I'm not going to go look it up in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Septuagint and the Vulgate because it very well might have been in some earlier version of the Masoretic text articular and been retained. Or it might just be that the scribe who was originally in charge of vowel pointing this just felt like it was easier to say with an ah instead of an eh there. Uh, Yored Denis Aretz versus Yored Denis Eretz. Uh, I don't see it, but we do the same thing in English all the time. We don't notice because we don't change the spelling when we do it. But the Masoretes, they were trying to preserve the way they decided to pronounce it, not just the way it should be pronounced. There's no standardized spelling, there's no standardized vowel pointing, even. It's just this is the way I'm pronouncing it when I get there. And that scribe got there. He said, you know what? When I get here, I say Aretz, not Eretz. And it's fine. And I undid all of his hard work just by making the dictionary entry point back to the right version. Um, or, right is a relatively subjective term, but um, don't need my phone for any of that, so I can log out of the phone. Don't need to get any more particular. Um, we are rapidly approaching the end of an hour. Let's see, translation. All of a sudden, we don't have enough words. We're going to add 4 more. That may not be right, but that'd be pretty close. Nope, not right. 1 more after that. I was pretty close. And we'll stretch this. And we'll stretch this. And then you can already see we have captured some of this. So even though none of the particular forms were there, when I get started into this on the next one, we've already got the thy, the thee, why does that one think it's a direct object marker? I'll have to check that out next time. The in and the with, the his, the in, the his, all marked up. Let's see. Why does that think? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Isha. Well, that's weird. Did I accidentally paste something? Because that looks like it should be I'm going to assume that I accidentally pasted something. And since I just closed it, I won't be able to just undo it and find out when. You can rewind the video and find out when. I don't care that much. That should be. Oh, I do know approximately when. Didn't do it on purpose, but I do now remember finding this one and not being able to find that one. And so now if I come back here, we see, ta-da, it is all gone. All right, that gets us right at the hour that I set aside for this. We finished up Obadiah 1-2, got the shirt up, and started our layout for Obadiah 1-3. Oh, and we added some footnotes. Let's see, one here. There we go. All right, so that finishes up for this month, and I will see you all next month.